Hello, guys and girls. This is Wager Detective here, June 20th, 2026, a beautiful Saturday down here in Atlantic City. We're going to get into this cap right here, right now. And, guys, before we get into that, be sure to follow Wager Detective on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And set alerts on Twitter and subscribe on YouTube and leave comments everywhere and share this video. What I'm about to do right now is to show why Wager Detective is one of the greatest cappers, if not the greatest handicapper in the world. Been doing this for a number of years now, and I'm starting to build a following, so any and all fans are always appreciated out there. You guys are my support, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's get into this cap right now. The Reds versus the Yankees. And it's a mixed bag, but I'm leaning one way, and we'll see as this cap goes if you can figure out who Wager Detective and why I'll be leaning that way. Now let's get into this. The Reds this year, they're 4-6 in their last 10. They're 16-20, okay, on the road this year. They're 11-8 in one-run games, and they're 25-33 versus right-handed pitching. In road day games this year, the Reds are 6-9. They have lost 3 straight road day games this year. In their 15 road day games this year, 6 over, 9 under. 4 of those games landed on 9. And in their 15 road day games this year, they're scoring 4.13 runs per game to 5.6. That's a 62-84 run scored disadvantage for them. So they're minus 18. They're minus 22 in the run differential department in 15 road games this year, day road games this year. That's a minus 1.47 and between their wins and losses, and it's a 9.73 runs per game average. Now in their last 9 games overall, they are 4-5, 2 over and 7 under in their last 9 games. In their last 9, they're scoring 3.77 runs per game to 4 for their opponent. Comes out to 7.77 runs per game average. In their last 9, their opponents have scored 5+ 5 times, and the Reds have scored 2 or less 4 times in their last 9 games. Now, interleague, this is where they shine. They're 17-11 in interleague games. This year, they swept the Rangers and they swept Minnesota in there. And they're 2-5, though, in their last 7 interleague games. In their 28 interleague games, where they're 17-11, they've scored 4.17 runs per game to 4.71 runs per game for their opponent. That's a 117 to 132. So they're minus 15 over their minus 15 runs over their 28 interleague games this year. In their 28 interleague games this year, they have scored 5+ 12 times. Their opponents have scored 5+ 14 times. So kind of building a case for the over here at 9.5. There's kind of like a mixed bag there, but that's kind of like what they're doing in interleague games. They're shining there in that department there. So last 9, like we said, 4-5, but in interleague play they shine 17-11 in interleague games this year. Now, in road Saturday games this year, they are 2-3, 3 over, 2 under. They're scoring 4.6 runs per game to 6.8 for their opponents. That's a 23-34 run score disadvantage for them. They're minus 11 in 5 road Saturday games this year, 3 over and 2 under. Now, the Reds, the situational angle here, after being shut out this year, they are 3-1, 1 over and 3 under in those games. They're scoring 3.75 runs per game to 3 runs per game for their opponents. So the Reds, 3-1 this year after being shut out. They're 4-5 in their last 9, and they're 17-11 in interleague play. Now, on the mound is going to be Andrew Abbott, left-hander. That doesn't seem to fade the Yankees, though. The Yankees are 18-7 this year versus left-handed pitching, but Abbott's going to be on the mound. The Reds are 2-3 in his last 5 outings, okay? And in his last 5 outings, the Reds have lost 2 straight. So he's 2-3. The Reds are 2-3 in his last 5 outings. In his last 5 outings, Abbott has a 3.50 ERA, 1.24 WHIP, and he's giving up 1.59 home runs per 9. He's given up 5 home runs over his last 5 games in 28 1/3. So that's going to be the question mark here. Now, as you can see in the confirmed lineups, we do not have Judge in the lineup. We don't have Judge in the lineup, but we got guys in there that can hit the ball out. Chisholm, left-handed, even though it's lefty on lefty there, he could get the ball out of there. Goldschmidt, Ben Rice had a home run yesterday. When you look at the lefty on lefty aspect, it does give you pause for concern, but if you look at the bottom there, the wind is blowing out 15 miles per hour, so it's something to keep in mind there. And I don't like being on an over when it's such a public play to bet the over in a game where the Yankees are involved and the Reds, but the Reds got guys that can knock the ball out of the park too. Sal Stewart, Bleday, Steer, they got a couple guys that can, flip the game to an over real quick. So Reds 2-3 in Abbott's last 5 outings. On the year, the Reds are 8-7 when Abbott starts. 8-7 when Abbott starts on the year. 6 over, 9 under, and they're scoring 4.6 runs per game, and their opponents are scoring 4.6 runs per game in those games where Abbott starts in his 15 starts this year. In the 8 wins for the Reds, they have won 4 of those games by only a run when Abbott starts in his 15 games this year. So half of those wins have been by 1 run. And when you look at the Yankees aren't really that good. They're 8-12 in 1-run games. So something to keep in mind. I'm dropping clues here. So let's see what Abbott's done on the road this year. On the road this year, the Reds are 4-3 when Abbott starts on the road. 2 over, 5 under. They're scoring 4.71 runs per game to 4.28. And in 7 road starts, Abbott has a 3.08 ERA, a 1.24 whip, and he's giving up 1.18 home runs per 9. So, the numbers between his last 5 and his 7 games on the road are pretty much almost identical. The whip is actually identical. He's given up a little less home runs per 9 in the road starts, but he's still giving up over a home run per game between his last 5 and 7 games on the road this year. Now, Abbott is going to be on 5 days rest this year, and it's a little bit of a bright spot for the Reds here. The Reds are 5-3 when Abbott starts on 5 days rest. 3 over, 3 under, and 3 over and 3 under. 3 over and 5 under. Okay? It says 9.5 here on the screen, but when I looked at the game this morning on FanDuel, it was 9. If it is 9, it's when Abbott starts on the road on 5 days rest, it's 3 over, 3 under, and 2 push. If it's 9.5, it's 3 over and 5 under. So something to keep in mind there. Now, when Abbott starts on the road on 5 days rest, again, the Reds are 5-3, and he has a 4.85 ERA, a 1.46 whip, and 1.06 home runs per 9. He's given up 21 walks in 42 2/3 innings pitched on 5 days rest this year. So the main thing that you're going to want to do, and he's given up quite a number of walks in his last 3 games. I think it's about 8 or 9 walks in his last 3 games. That is going to spell trouble for this team. When you get into the metrics I'm about to show you for the Yankees, you see why they're minus 200 today. Now, Abbott, when he pitches during the day this year, not that bad. The Reds are 4-4, 4 over and 4 under. They've scored 5+ 5 times in those games. Their opponents have scored 5+ 3 times. When Abbott starts during the day this year, a 3.89 ERA, 1.42 whip, and 1.08 home runs per 9. So there's a trend here with Abbott. Will the walks get him in trouble? Will the walks lead to runs? And then will the walks lead to home runs with guys on base? They're performing well. Like, you look at the overall metric here, I don't necessarily know if the Yankees should be a minus 200, even though the stats I'm about to drop on you are going to be absolutely hard for you not to like the Yankees today. But that's all that in a nutshell. Reds 2-3 in Abbott's last 5 starts. They're 8-7 on the year when he starts. They're 5-3 when he starts on 5 days rest. They're 4-3 when he starts on the road, and they're 4-4 when he starts a day game this year. And they're scoring runs, right? They're scoring 4.62 when he pitches on the road. When he pitches during the day, they're scoring 4.7 when he pitches on the road. They're scoring 4.6 in all his starts this year, 15 starts. So I think you might be hard-pressed here to get to that number with Will Warren on the mound, but I think Will Warren could give up runs today too. But you look at all those stats, Reds 6-9 in road day games this year, and 4-5 in their last 9, and 17-11 in interleague play. I don't necessarily know if the Yankees should be a minus 200 here, but you tell me as you listen to this cap. Let's get into the Yankee side of this cap. Yankees 8-2 in their last 10. They're 14-6 in their last 20 games. They're 18-7 against left-handed pitching, which you'll see today. They're 8-12 in one-run games, and they're only 7-6 in interleague play. Okay, so when we look at them in home day games this year, the Yankees are phenomenal. 9-3, 7 over and 5 under. They have won. So they're 9-3 in home day games this year, 7 over and 5 under. The last 3 games, home day games for the Yankees, have gone under that total of 9.5. So something to keep in mind there. If you're 7-5 on the year, the last 3 went under. I'm looking back for it to go over. So that's one of the reasons why I'm looking at that over. Very, very tough. Now, in home day games this year, where the Yankees are 9-3, they're scoring 6.41 runs per game to 3 runs for their opponent. 77-36 run differential there for them. That's a plus 41 in home day games this year for the Yankees. Their opponents have scored 2 or less 4 times. Okay? And their opponents have scored 2 or less in their last 4 home day games. So I don't necessarily know if we'll see that here, especially after the Reds getting shut out yesterday. I think they're going to come fired up here. Okay, so last 9 for the Yankees overall, they're 7-2. 5 over, 4 under. Last 9 games for the Yankees, they're scoring 6.11 runs per game to 3.33 for their opponents. That's a 55-30 run scored advantage for them. That's plus 25. In their last 9 games, the Yankees have scored 5+ 6 times. Their opponents have scored 2 or less 4 times. So Yankees looking good at this part of the cap, right? 9-3 in home day games, 7-2 in their last 9. It gets a little middling here, right? They're 7-6 in interleague play. They were swept. They swept San Francisco, but they were swept at Milwaukee, and they shut out teams 3 times in interleague play this year. So, and one of those was yesterday when they played the Reds, when they won 5-0. So Yankees 7-6 in interleague games, 4 over, 9 under, 4.31 runs per game to 3.54 for their opponents. That's a 56-46 run scored advantage. In 13 interleague games this year, the Yankees have scored 5+ 7 times. Their opponents have scored 2 or less 6 times. So something to keep in mind there. Now, in home Saturday games this year, the Yankees are a perfect 4-0. 3 over, 1 under. In home Saturday games this year, the Yankees are scoring 8.25 runs per game to 3.75 for their opponents. That's a 33-15 run scored advantage for the Yankees. So you look at all those numbers, this is why the Yankees are favored by what they are here, right? Even though the Reds, not bad, 4-6 in their last 10, Yankees 4-0 in home Saturday games this year. Now, the Yankees, they're a perfect 7-0 the game after they shut a team out this year. 7-0 the game after the Yankees where they shut out a team the game before. 7-0. And they're 6-1 against the spread, -1.5 in that split. In those 7 games, 1 over, 6 under, the Yankees are scoring 4.42 runs per game to 1.43 for their opponent. That's a 31-10 run scored advantage for the Yankees. So all those metrics are lining up for the Yankees to get the job done here, right? I mean, how could you deny the Yankees here when you get to this part of the cap? Now, if we look at who's going to be on the mound, it's going to be Will Warren. And Will Warren, his last 4 starts have been on the road, okay? But the Yankees are 5-0 in Will Warren's last 5 starts. But they're 3-2 against the spread, minus that 1.5 in those games. So they're 5-0 last 5 Will Warren starts, but 3-2 against that spread of 1.5. Okay? And the last 3 Will Warren starts have gone over that total that's set today. Last 5 starts for Warren, he's got a 3.56 ERA, but he's also got a 1.54 whip. He's only given up 1 home run in his last 5 outings, which is very, very good, and only 10 earned runs in 25 1/3. So his last 4 starts on the road, Yankees are 5-0 in his last 5 starts. Yankees 3-2 against that spread, -1.5 in those last 5 starts. And Warren, like we said, a 3.56 ERA with a 1.54 whip. Now, the Yankees are 12-2 when Will Warren starts this year, 9-3 against that spread of 1.5. So Yankees 12-2 when Will Warren starts this year, 7 over, 7 under. And Yankees 9-3 in those starts, -1.5. So looking good for the Yankees. Now at home this year, Will Warren, when Will Warren starts at home this year, Yankees 5-2, but they're only 3-2 against that -1.5. So they're good at home when Warren starts, 5-2, but they're 3-2, -1.5 in those wins. Now, in his 7 home starts this year, 36 1/3, 33 hits, 16 earned runs, 6 home runs, and 9 walks. Comes out to a 3.96 ERA, a 1.16 whip, and he's giving up 1.49 home runs per 9 in 7 home starts this year. Another reason why I think balls might be flying out of the park today. Why I believe that this game could go over. It just jumps out at me. And might I mention, as we get into this cap further, the Reds, in their last 13 road Saturday games, 9 over and 4 under that total that's set. The Yankees, last 11 home Saturday games, they're 6-5, 6 over, 5 under. That's a combined 15-9 to the over. 15 over and 9 under between those teams in their last Saturday away starts, games, and home games. So another reason why Wager Detective is leaning towards the over in this game. I expect runs to be going out of the park. And let's take a further look here. Now, in day games this year, when Warren starts, the Yankees are 6-0, 5-1 against the spread at that -1.5. In Warren's 6 day game starts this year, the Yankees are scoring 8.16 runs per game to 3.5 for their opponent. That's a 49-21 run scored advantage. That's +28. That's 11.66 runs per game. Another reason why Wager Detective likes that over. In Warren's 6 home day starts this year, he does have a 2.45 ERA, 1.27 whip, but he's still giving up 1.09 home runs per 9 in those outings. So it gets a little bit better for him during the day games when he starts this year as far as the ERA compared to what he's done at home this year, where he has a 3.96 ERA. Now, another undefeated record. When he's on 5 days rest this year, the Yankees are 6-0. All right? 5-1 against the spread there as well. They're scoring 8.5 runs per game to 3.66. Comes out to 12.2 runs per game average. And guys, 4 over and 2 under in those games. If I'm to look at this game, I do believe that this game goes over. I really do. And, you know, the only thing that's kind of scaring me about this is the fact that the Reds are coming off being shut out. And after they get shut out, they are, like we said, they're 3-1. It's a small sample size after being shut out, but they're only scoring 3.75 runs per game. I do believe that they'll get to that number, and I believe if they do get to 4, if they could get to that number 4, I think the Yankees should do the rest to kind of get that game over. So Wager Detective's stronger lean here, just for the value aspect, is going to be to take the over in this game. Let's take a look. Let's take a look and see if we can find what the total is in this game right now. because I want to take a look here and kind of see what the books have it at now. I should be able to gauge here. Okay, so they do have it at 9.5, and it's coming in on the under. I do believe that it's coming in on that. It's more shaded to the under because you have no Aaron Judge in the lineup. And since there is going to be no Aaron Judge in the lineup, I don't believe that this game should be a minus 200. I mean, all the metrics you've looked at and everything we've seen, I got to believe that Aaron Judge was a part of a lot of those numbers for at least half those games. So to say that the Reds, and we're going to do a little teaching lesson here. Okay, let's just take a look here. So plus 166. Let me see here. 100 divided by 100. Wait. Divided by 100 plus 166. They're giving the Reds a 38% chance to win this game, and then obviously minus 200. They're saying the Yankees are going to be like 66%, right? I just don't know if I can look at this game and say I think that it should be that. So for that reason, because with no Judge in the lineup, guys, let's get back to this. With no Judge in the lineup, you know, and your two best your guys that could hit home runs, Rice and Bellinger, you know, even against a guy that's given up a lot of walks and a lot of traffic, I just don't necessarily know. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I think the over, for me, is kind of the stronger play. And as far as a side, I don't like giving out a team that is, you know, I mean, all the metrics are leaning towards that. You know, the Yankees, 7-0 this year after shutting a team out. 4-0 in home Saturday games. Their last 9, they're scoring 6.11 runs per game. In their 12 home day games this year, they're scoring 6.41. Guys, the over is the play here. The question is, are the Reds going to come out and be able to score? And I like Bleday. I like Sal Stewart, one of the top guys in Major League Baseball in hitting home runs. And the fact that both these guys give up traffic, it's going to be a matter of what they do with the RISP, runners in scoring position. You know, that's going to be the main focus. If you can get, you know, if you could score, if both these teams could score 3 times with runners in scoring position, you might get a home run in there. You might get traffic. You might get a really, really good crooked inning. And I expect that to happen here. Now, I don't know if I want to lay 200 with the home team. And I don't like laying minus 1.5 with the home team because you might not get that last at bat. You might not get that last at bat. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't like ever betting the home team laying minus 1.5. But if you look at the Reds, all their metrics are basically saying, even when they lose, between their winning and losing, I would like them to cover this run line here. I'm going to go out on the limb here because all the metrics are clearly pointing towards the Yankees, right? But I don't know, without judging that lineup, that you can sit there and say that the Reds don't have a considerably better chance when your best guy isn't in the lineup. And you got a lefty going against Rice, Bellinger, and Chisholm. If he could keep the walks down and the Reds could come out and play the way they, you know, I think they can, I do believe that the Reds cover this run line here. So plus 1.5 is minus 125. That's Wager Detective's call. And then I like this game to go over the 9.5. This is Wager Detective. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. I gave you a plethora of stats here, guys. Share this with the world. Let the world know that Wager Detective is on his way. I love all my fans out there. And this cap is should be further evidence that I'm just getting started. And the ways that I cap a game are just a million ways to one of how I do it. So I appreciate for you guys listening in. This is Wager Detective here, calling the Reds plus 1.5 and the game to go over that 9.5. Follow Wager Detective on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And remember this, guys, Wager Detective loves all his fans. I'll talk to you soon.